I prepared 10 well-designed ad creatives that I'm about to show you in this video. Now, I could say that almost 100% that these ad creatives are working extremely well for these brands because these ads have been active for months and months. And keep in mind, if a brand is doing one thing for quite a long time, then you could say definitely that it's working. Otherwise, why would they put so much money onto one ad for such a long time if that didn't work? So let me show you these 10 best Facebook ad creatives that you could go and get inspired and create something similar for your brand so you could get much more results. Let's start with the first one. So this is the ad one. Now, I didn't put them in a order like of their performance. This is just the first ad. So what we can see here is that they are using simply an image. That simply means that images are still working. However, you don't need just to rely on images, but let's just focus on this picture. So what we could see first of all is that it is quite focused on the product, and we have the text overlay which says no animals were harmed in the making of this bag. Enjoy. Now, we know that when it comes to fashion, when it comes to style, when it comes to bags, like consumers are aware of the harm of fast fashion. So that's why businesses, especially sustainable businesses, they are promoting this angle. And what I noticed from data is that millennials, they are looking at this aspect much more in depth. They really care about it if a brand is sustainable, is using recycled materials and things like that, or not. If your brand is not sustainable at this moment, it's quite difficult to sell to millennials because they've made the research and they are quite familiar with what's going on in the world. So this is a pretty good ad from this angle. Now let's move forward to the second ad. This is what is called like a press ad. Now, from this image, we could see that it looks quite like as a screenshot from the press itself. Now, you could use literally like a screenshot, but you know, it should be well designed. It should have like the most important things. If you're using fluffy stuff in an ad, that will not work. But for this example, I think that it's well designed, it's working quite well. And just because it creates this feeling that this is like a screenshot from a press, it builds authority on the marketplace because we know this third-party validation, like having reviews, being featured in different magazines, that elevates the authority of a brand. And by adding this authority, people can justify your prices, especially if you are selling something more high ticket. If you're selling something really expensive, this is a must. Otherwise, people will not see the difference why you're charging much higher prices than other brands out there. So it's important to have some authority on the marketplace if you want to be seen as an expert when it comes to your products and as a brand that has products that are really valuable for the marketplace. Let's go to the third ad. So now we are going into more videos, slideshows and things like that. So this is an ad. Let's just take a look one more time at this ad from the beginning. So they say you asked, and then they transition to we listened. Now, in psychology, in customer persuasion, there is a psychological trigger which is called unity. So what this means pretty much, when a consumer or a potential customer feels that contributed to a product, to a collection launch, they will be more likely to go ahead and purchase something from you because they will feel that they are part of community, they are part of your business. And this ad portrays that very well because when you say like you asked, that means that it's talking to the customer, like they asked for some kind of questions, they asked for some kind of improvements for a specific product, and then they say we listened, and they are showing off the new product. So with this ad creative, they are articulating the message of, hey, we are listening to you, our customer, and we are improving our products over time. And that makes them feel that they are contributing to growing this business, they are part of a journey. Now, next up is an ad that is, as you remember, it's all like it's positioned in a way that it creates a comparison between this business, which is selling jewelry, to another like competitor. So us, pretty much this ad is essentially an us versus them. In the beginning, they are showing how durable are this jewelry, and then once we have our brand, they are showing that it's breaking very quickly. So at the end also, they are using some kind of humor. You have to be cautious and you have to know your customer if they will understand this type of humor. So let's talk about the next one. This ad creative is very well designed And I highly suggest using these types of high production videos for luxury brands. As you can see, we've got here a couple close-ups of this bag, and just by looking at its like video, you have a certain feeling. This feeling kind of makes you think that this is not a cheap bag. So that's what you want to make sure you are putting in the customer's head. You need to make sure that you tell them just before they go to the website that this is an expensive brand. Otherwise, if you're using, you know, like a camera, like a phone camera, and the quality is not that professional and it doesn't like say the true value of a product, the moment when they land to the website, they will be more likely to leave your site, because the price points that they were thinking in their mind actually doesn't match with what they see on the website, and they will have this price resistance, they'll have price objections around your product. It's important to show the true value of your product and add more perceived value around the product. Now, the ways to include the add perceived value, from tons and tons of them, but one of them is using close-ups, because you are showing the details, you're showing the fabric, which is something that is subconsciously adding more value around your product. Let's go to the next one.
Myths that people still believe. Number 1, exfoliating every day. Using physical exfoliants too often to get rid of dead skin cells may seem like it could help with acne, but scrubbing your face too aggressively can actually lead to inflammation, making your acne worse. Number 2, only teens get acne. Although 85% of teens can get some sort of acne, they're not the only ones who can suffer from it. 30% of adults, both men and women, will experience acne sometime in their adulthood. And number 3, acne will go away on its own. Since acne is a chronic condition, it can last a long time and exist on your skin beneath the surface. And if you don't use the right products to treat it, your acne will most likely remain or even get worse. This is why I love using personalized skincare like Curology, because their products are made specifically for you and your skin needs. All you have to do is take their online quiz, then their dermatology providers send you a cleanser, a custom formula, and a moisturizer straight to your door. So if you've been struggling with your acne, you're going to want to use Curology.
So from this ad, what we can learn is that by adding value upfront to your potential customer, then you could much easily talk about the call to action, talk about your product, introduce your product. If you go just straightforward into shop now, buy my product, it's quite tricky to sell it, especially if your brand is not known, doesn't have authority, doesn't have reviews, doesn't have that social proof. It's very difficult to sell your products. That's why by adding like these tips, in this case free myths, they are talking about free acne myths that people still believe. So they are educating the customer about this type of problem, and then they are introducing a product that helps people with this issue. And you have to also understand that an educated client is a better client, just from the perspective that they understand the true value of your product. Because imagine that you are selling these products to a person who is not even aware of the problems with the acne. They are not going to understand the true value of your product, so whatever prices you are giving them, they will not see the value, and it's not a fair like transition for them. So it's important to educate your client as well. The moment when they understand the value of your product, they're gonna be more likely to purchase from you. Now let's go to the ad number 7. So in this ad, what we could see is, like, just explaining a little bit of this ad, we have this piece of jewelry and they put it in a water, and pretty much they are having like different videos, short videos from each day. And what we could see is that they are handling one of the objections that people have, and this objection is this product waterproof? Now, just saying that your jewelry is waterproof, like in a text format, some people will trust you, others not. Like some, yes, if you have some social proof, if they are your customers, but you know, imagine a person who doesn't know your brand at all, and just by telling them you have like this and you are the best, it's quite difficult for them to trust you because they don't know you. So by showing them visually, by proving them with this type of ad creatives, then they are gonna be more likely to trust you. So that's something very important, and that's something that we could learn from, because if you know some of the objections of your customers, which you should, because the customer search is extremely important, and you could find what are those objections and concerns your customers have, then you could brainstorm about ad creatives where you could show and prove that your product can handle that particular objection. Let's talk about the next one. This is an ad that I just like love it very much, because it is not something very wow, but subconsciously it's making a power emotional statement. So what this does is that we could literally see that it's just a slideshow, pretty much, you know, the model without the product and then the model with the product. So subconsciously what happens is that without the product, like your neck here doesn't look that cool, like it doesn't add that elegance to your outfit. With the necklace, like you look completely different. So subconsciously when qualified customer, when a customer who is interested in necklaces sees something like this, like in their mind they will see the difference of like not wearing a necklace and wearing a necklace. Essentially it creates this contrast and comparison of A, not having the necklace, B, having the necklace. And when you can create this contrast in a very compelling way like this, then your customers will be more likely again to purchase. If you don't give them a comparison, they will compare your products with whatever they will think and whatever is coming up in their mind. And I can tell you, these comparisons are not fair. So why not use some kind of comparisons from our side? Why not to give them like a certain a certain way to compare our products with or to. Let's talk about the ninth ad. This is an ad that is poor based on authority. So if you've been featured in a different magazines, make sure that you utilize and take advantage of them in your ad creatives, because usually I noticed that they're working extremely well and you could play around, you can find ways on how to put them. You could literally just use their logo, you could use their logo with their code if you have something like that, but essentially they are elevating your authority and that gives you much more opportunities in terms of increasing that conversion rate. And let's talk about the last one. So first of all, if you've been watching different Instagram reels or TikTok, you could see that this is an ad that, first of all, in the beginning, they've taken a particular trending sound and a particular trending video. And then they are using some other, like their products in this video. And you could see that they are using like fast cuts, flashy moments. And the reason behind that is because of the customer avatar. You cannot literally like use these types of fast cuts and this type of ad creatives for, I don't know, a luxury brand or for a brand who is selling more like elegant jewelry, let's say, because it doesn't speak to the customer. But for this type of customer avatar, it speaks directly to them. Because if you make the customer research and if you look at videos around these types of heavy chunky jewelry, you could understand like what are the preferences of this customer, and then you will understand that this type of ads, they are perfect for them. So at the end of the day, it boils down to know your customer. Like I've talked a lot about knowing your customer, knowing their pain points, knowing their concerns, their wishes and wants. Like literally you could see throughout all these ad creatives that if you know your customer, then you have much more ideas, you know what kind of ads you could launch, you could test, and pretty much you never run out of ad creative ideas. Now, if you're new to this channel, click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Every other day I put here a new video about Facebook, Instagram and TikTok ads, and sometimes conversion rate optimization. If this is something that you are looking for, click on the subscribe button. So now it's up to you. Don't let this video feel and look good. Now it's time to implement. Start with some ad creatives that resonate the most with your brand that I've shown you in this video, and then go from there. Until then, keep growing your business.